Hey, I'm Brian, and that's Jeremy behind the camera. We are coming to you today from MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, bringing you a special edition of stuff. We're going to be talking about the military. We're talking about military resources for educators. We're talking about how military technology is helping Florida Virtual School complete our mission, all things military today. We're going to be hopping aboard the KC-135 Stratotanker Air Refueling mission, and you're invited, so come on. Welcome to this month's episode of Stuff. As we mentioned, Jeremy and I recently had an invitation from the Air Force to fly on a C-135 Stratotanker, and we have some great footage to show you of how the crews at MacDill Air Force Base keep our military in the skies.
But before we get to that, you may be wondering, what the heck does all of this have to do with Florida Virtual School? Well, quite a lot actually, and on a few different levels. You see, Orlando, Florida is the home of the largest concentration of military simulation and training firms in the entire country. Every major branch of the military, as well as contractors like Lockheed Martin and Boeing and many others, have a significant presence in Central Florida. And many have a partnership with the University of Central Florida.
Right, whom we work very closely with as well. So all these organizations are working on some amazing research and development projects. Many are focused on training our troops to be the most efficient armed forces in the world. Advanced technologies such as 3D virtual worlds, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and more are being used, enhanced, and developed right here in our own community.
You know, this gives FLVS the opportunity to oftentimes work closely with these organizations and share knowledge about what we're doing here and how we may be able to use the same technologies that they're developing to train our soldiers to educate our students.
Some examples of how we're applying this knowledge and developing new ideas for course materials include our 3D frog dissection for biology, the Conspiracy Code augmented reality piece, and some new mobile initiatives for today's smartphones.
You know, and there are plenty of other ideas and projects that we're working on too, many of which are being influenced by what we're learning from our military counterparts. You know, a variety of applications to develop personalized learning content by incorporating artificial intelligence, or mixed reality scenarios that layer digital information on top of the real world, and of course, immersive 3D experiences that our students can learn in. You know, and some of it almost sounds like science fiction.
Well, because Florida Virtual School is so open-minded when it comes to exploring new technologies and ways to push the boundaries of education, we've been able to do a good deal of sharing with our military and their affiliated counterparts. As the old saying goes, you never know where a good idea is going to come from. So having the opportunity to keep an open dialogue has proved beneficial to all of us and is a wonderful and unique opportunity for Jeremy and I to stay on the leading edge of technological research.
Which is what brought us to MacDill Air Force Base. Recently, Brian and I were invited to fly with the 927th Air Refueling Wing on a C-135 Stratotanker. Comparing the actual flight with one of the many advanced simulations that we've seen was truly an eye-opening experience.
It all began with a briefing in the morning. Then we boarded the craft, which is about the size of a modern jumbo 747. Soon, we were flying over the Atlantic to refuel a squadron of F-15s.
And boy, were there some spectacular sights. Imagine fighter jets flying just off our wing, and the amazing precision that these pilots used to ease their aircraft just under the tanker. It was truly, truly amazing.
Once in position, an airman used a joystick to gently ease the fueling boom into position and refuel the F-15s. All of this happening at a mere 300 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's nothing, right? Now, while the officers mentioned that although there's no substitution for the real thing, today's Air Force is relying more and more on using high-level simulation and training systems to train aviators and airmen. And not just the Air Force. All of the branches of the military are actually heavily invested in developing and using advanced technologies to train our soldiers.
And it's not just the military. Engineering firms like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and McDonnell Douglas not only develop, but also use simulations and other advanced technologies to get their job done too.
You know, and it's not just engineering firms. Today, virtually any corporate firm, professional organization, heck, most jobs require today's students to use tomorrow's technologies once they graduate. This is why FLVS is so keen on teaching those 21st century skills.
Right, so how does all this relate to you as a teacher? Well, here's one example. Each branch of the service has some great outreach programs in the technosphere that benefit you, our students, and our local communities. Here are a few that we found, which you may want to check out.
The Army Corps of Engineers has a plethora of information from the history of the Corps to interactive games on navigation. Check out their Young Engineers Club for great interactives, as well as their Classroom Connection for resources and real-world examples in each subject area.
The Office of Naval Research participates in and sponsors science fairs, college internships, graduate fellowships, and curricular enrichment programs. Their site lists out programs such as SEAP, the Science and Engineering Apprenticeship Program. This is an 8-week summer internship program for high school juniors and seniors where they get to work side by side with professionals at a local naval research facility. And the best part? It's a paid internship that the students will love.
The Army Education Outreach Program is comprised of Army-sponsored research, education, and competition programs, as well as internships and practical experiences designed to engage and guide students and teachers in science, technology, engineering, and math programs. Check out their website for more details.
So there you have it, a comprehensive look at how FLVS is inspired by military technology and some resources that you can use to help teach students those important STEM skills so many of them need. We hope you've enjoyed this episode that took you into the wild blue yonder. As for Jeremy and myself, well, we've got a plane to catch.
I thought it was a tank.
That's a plane. Oh. And by the way, I'm going to make you call me by my cool Air Force name now. That's Brian Top Gun Collins.
I thought it was Danger Zone.
Danger Zone Collins.
Hey, is it a virtual or a real plane?
It's a real plane.
Oh, let's go.
In a virtual world.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's classified.
All right.